Welcome to Redesigning Health and Home. I'm Meg.
And I'm Kerri. We love creating beautiful, functional spaces and living healthy, vibrant lives. So join us as we chat about simple, practical ways to take care of your body, mind, and your home. Whether it's fitness tips, home decor ideas, recipe, or navigating those big life moments, we're here to share what works for us and what doesn't, with some encouragement along the way.
Let's redesign this life together, one step, one room, and one habit at a time.
Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Redesigning Health and Home. I'm Kerri and I have my beautiful friend and co-host Meg here with me today. And today we're going to talk about something really fun. We're going to talk about some party planning. And how are things going with you, Meg?
Really going well. And I think this is a perfect topic because you, in my mind, are party planner extraordinaire. So I want to kind of pick your brain from conception of even a small gathering to a huge soiree to all the way to when you're just dropping on your couch after the event, all the things in between. So are you okay with me asking you a whole bunch of questions about party planning?
Yes, please do. This is one of my very favorite topics in the whole wide world. I love a party.
Well, I know you do, and you do a great one. So, hey, I hope everyone can get inspired with these tips or these answers that you give on how to plan the perfect party. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Right.
So as I said, we're going to go way back to the kind of planning board or the idea board. And do you have any sort of big party coming up?
Well, actually, we do. We have a very exciting party coming up. So our eldest daughter, Jessica, is graduating from medical school in May. And so we're having a celebration with her with some family and friends. So she's worked hard for the last 4 years, and we've been leading up to this exciting time. So just super excited to celebrate with her. So that's coming up very soon.
That is so exciting. Medical school. Amazing. Wow. Best of luck on all of that. Well, let's go ahead to the idea of the party we have. So you have why, but how do you start to think about a theme or the vibe you're going for? How is this party going to look?
For sure. So often the vibe is dictated to me from who the guests are that are coming, right? You're going to have a very different party for a bunch of 6-year-olds, than you are for a group of young adults versus if it's a real mixed crowd and you've got grandma and grandpa coming and, newborns, you have to think of all of those ages. So for this party, I would say it's mostly mid-20 somethings up to people kind of more in our age group, but that definitely helps to dictate some of the vibe. So I think we're going a little bit grown up, and Jessica wanted to incorporate the color purple into the color palette because that's Northwestern's colors. And they have quite a deep dark purple, but we're lightening it up and going a little bit more lavender. Jessica's very a soft, feminine kind of gal. And so we're going with just really a soft color palette with some greens, some light pinks, and some lavenders mixed in there with some cream. So it's going to be very feminine and very pretty. So that's the vibe that we're going for this party.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. So when you determine guest size, event, what is your overall thought process that you're aiming for?
So practically speaking, the number of the guests, I talked about the age of the guests, but it's going to dictate a little bit where your venue is, right? So we're hoping to have it outside, but May can be unpredictable. So we're going to plan for outside with a very well thought out backup plan to move things inside, because May is just one of those months you cannot, you're not guaranteed that it won't rain. So anything that I am planning for outside, I need to make sure is going to fit inside. So for at your home, if that means you need to get a tent because it might be hot or it might rain, great. Maybe you rent a tent. We have a gazebo we're going to put up for that purpose. My poor sister in Canada, she was planning an engagement party and the weather did not cooperate at all. They ended up spending almost the whole party in the garage, and she made it so cute and it was so fun. And she had other spaces set up, but everybody thought it was just so fun in the garage, So sometimes we have to just let go of our expectations and just realize that it's about the people and about the fun. So that's practically, how I start. And then creatively, I like to kind of choose some main focal points. So I think one thing that can bog us down is that we might think that we have to decorate every space in our house. So first of all, that's a lot of work and that's a lot of expense to decorate every room in your house. So instead of trying to do that, I like to choose 3 to 5 main focal points and concentrate my efforts and my budget on those spaces to make a really big impact. So think big, especially outside. Things can get very lost very quickly. So one of the elements that we've decided to go with is this giant balloon arch. It's going to actually be our photo background, and it's got all the colors of the color palette in it. It's going to be quite large and going to command a lot of attention because of its size and because of the color. And so that's going to be one element of our focal point. Then I decided to concentrate some of our design at the entryway. So when people come in, they know where to come into the backyard and they feel welcomed. They know that they're at the right place because most people have not come to this house before. And they're already going to get a sense of the flavor of the party and the color palette right from the very beginning. Jessica worked on a beautiful floral sign that is welcoming the guests, and that's going to be propped up on an easel right when people first walk in. And I like to have some kind of little surprise when people first walk in, whether it's a signature cocktail on the table that you're ready to hand them. Make sure you've got some mocktails available for those who prefer those, or maybe a little champagne glass or something like that for people as soon as they walk in. And then, of course, your food table is going to be another big opportunity to place flowers and candles and really bring in some nice decor elements for the party as well. So that's how I like to do it. I divide up the space into zones and I focus my budget on those. So I don't bother with little things in the bathroom and little things in the kitchen. I do a few large things and then just let everything else kind of blend in.
That's a perfect tip. I like that this kind of goes with when you were talking about spring refreshing the senses. You kind of had those 5 elements, and now we're going into just a couple areas of concentration. That's really great.
So the 5 senses definitely apply to the party in a big way and, really sit down and consider all 5 of them. And what I add to those 5 senses is what are your guests going to do, right? Like everybody comes in and you welcome and, you have the hugs and all that. But then what are they going to do? How long is your party? Is this just a sit around and visit party? Which can be fine, but it is nice to provide activities for some folks who just don't really love just to sit around and visit. So do you have a game of bags or bocce ball over off to the side? Is there something to do in the basement for the kids? Some kind of activity. Are you going to plan some kind of special music, live music, or some kind of entertainment? Do you have that woven into it? Because it's kind of like you want to unfold all the fun things one after the other and not all at once, and then nobody knows what to do, but kind of introduce, right? And it's like, here's your signature cocktail. Now come on in. Oh, we've got a custom playlist playing. And here's a place for you to write some notes to whoever the guest of honor is or whatever. And then you can move over and have some appetizers, right? So there's things to do along the way. You want to go play some games, entertainment's going to be later, and just kind of roll it out slowly so that the party unfolds and you have a whole evening kind of planned. At the end of our evening, we usually do this if it's summertime. If anybody wants to sit and hang around the fire pit and have a bonfire at the end of the evening, that's kind of how we usually wrap up the evening. So I like to think of it the whole way through and to kind of plan it out that way.
Well, that sounds very impressive. For the novice party planner, do you think that a mood board or a creative board is helpful? Do you use that? Maybe take it from your interior decorating background?
For sure. So Pinterest is a great place to start pinning some ideas on your boards. I personally like to use either Canva or just a PowerPoint and drag things into there. So I usually choose something as the jumping off point. So for this time, we knew we had a particular color to work with in our color palette. And I found this arch and I was like, yes, that's the vibe we're going for. And so that's the very first thing that would go onto my mood board. What color do I want to pull out of there for the plates and the napkins? Okay, let's do those next and order those next so that you're starting to accumulate your things over time. And the nice thing about as soon as you know that you're having this and the sooner you can start gathering the items, it makes you feel better and less panicked, at party time, but it also stretches out throughout your budget so that you're not waiting to buy everything all at once and having a little sticker shock.
Sure. Speaking of budget, I mean, parties can get to be a little pricey.
Yeah.
So, do you put maybe a bigger stamp on food or a bigger stamp on entertainment, or is it just kind of ebbs and flows with the party itself?
Sure. So I love to decorate. I find cooking for a crowd very stressful. So I would rather do some of my DIY decorating things and take care of that myself and hire out the food, because to me, that's the stressful part. So we're going to have some food catered and pick up some food as well. I might add an occasional thing of my own in there, but for the most part, the food is going to be hired out, because for me, that's the difficult part. If it's the other way around and you love to cook, but you are not so confident in the decorating field, or you really are super hyped about having some great entertainment, then put a chunk of your budget towards that. But you're right. It can get out of hand very very quickly. And the number of your guests, the more expensive things become, because you're going to feed all those people. And that's the other thing too, is deciding, is this going to be an actual entire dinner, or are you going to keep the budget a little bit more friendly and make it drinks and appetizers? And if that's the case, just make sure that your guests are aware of that, so they're not expecting dinner, or that they haven't eaten already and they come and then they find out there's dinner. So on our invitation, I said, this is the start time and dinner is served at this time. And so
Oh,
people know what to expect, right? When they're coming in.
beautiful, beautiful. Now, you mentioned about, catering food and you're doing some of the crafts yourself. What kind of timelines do we need to plan? I mean, I'm sure you can't call, maybe you can the day before, but how much relief is it when you have those timelines set?
Yeah, for sure. So, this kind of party, because we've known it's been coming, Jessica and I started talking about dates, I think back in January, because she has actually quite a lot going on this spring. And so she had limited weekends, and we wanted to give people the save the date quite far in advance, because we have some people that are traveling. So get that save the date out as soon as you can. You'll have a better percentage of attendance if you let people know ahead of time, especially for summertime events. And then from there, if you know what your food is going to be, so we have not ordered our food yet. We have decided what we want to have. Jessica's a vegetarian, so she had a big hand in that piece. But we are going to add in some barbecue meat dishes for people that enjoy that as well. So we'll be ordering from 2 different places. But just by looking at the menu, we knew what to expect budget-wise and where you can order from, because the budget for catering, the range is very wide. So you need to decide what you're comfortable with. So the barbecue is going to cost a little bit more than the rest of the stuff, because we're choosing to order it from a grocery store. But, the barbecue is from an actual restaurant. So that's going to cost more, of course.
Perfect. And how do you know where to start with the caterers or the restaurants?
Right.
Are you just searching around for people that offer catering sizes?
Yeah. So we have actually gone to this barbecue place a couple times. We know that we really like it, and so for that, that was kind of a no-brainer, because we've been there and we really liked the food. We happened to come across a cupcake place, and it is far. Like it is not convenient to me to drive and get these cupcakes, but they were so good. I will drive and get the cupcakes. Like they were so good. Yes, they were that good. And then I wanted to bring in some. Okay, how do you say these? Do you say, are they macaroons? Is that the cookies? Is that how you say it?
Macarons or macaroons. I know there's the 2, the coconut, but then there's the almond flour.
Yeah, the
with
ones that come colorful and they're little round.
Yeah. Macaron?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I'm trying to sound fancy.
Anyway, I found somebody who paints the cookies, and they look like little sprigs of lavender on the. So here's the thing. Ridiculously expensive per cookie. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to order maybe a dozen of those, and then just regular macaroons to go in around them. They don't all have to be exactly the same. And same with the cupcakes. You could order some of the, super duper fancy ones, mix it in with some other ones that are just vanilla or chocolate, and it's still a lovely presentation. So that's a little budget tip.
Now, for the menu, the decorations, I know you have the purple lavender theme. But do you have a theme then, or is it just your guest of honor? She's the theme, so you're going to do what she loves?
It's mostly the color palette and Jessica's vibe. And then we do hope to have a little bit of surprise in the entertainment department, but I can't share. I can't share because I don't want to. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't want to ruin that. So, yeah.
yeah. Oh, exciting. Well, very good. Well, let's jump to the day of the big day. Do you hold a checklist? Do you have things in your planner? I mean, what is you're waking up at the crack of dawn and just what tell me the day of?
Yes. So the day of is hour by hour, half hour by half hour, quarter hour by quarter hour as to what needs to be done. You will save yourself a lot of headaches if you sit down weeks before, literally do a brain dump of planning and try to knock out as many things as early as you can, obviously. But on the day of, I can get a little psycho. Like, how are you for party planning? Like, I am serious. My family hides from me. And like, I get this from my parents. And I think I don't know, I get very stressed and I'm trying to get better. I am getting some better. But it was like that for a long time where my family they would hide from me. So they were like, mom's in party planning mode, stay clear. How about you?
Yeah, that's why there's all those reels and funny bits about men dressed up as women with a vacuum running around. You've seen that one, right?
Yes, yes.
And it's hilarious.
Because it's so true.
It's so true. You know, you're trying to clean under, I don't know, a couch, whatever.
Right.
So I am the same because I would love things to be just perfect, you know. Yeah. So I don't see that about you, but I'm glad you have your checklist. So now this is interesting. If you say your family runs from you, are they also helping you or are you fully hands on?
So I'm fully hands on for the most part, but I have learned how to delegate. And the way I decide what to delegate is very specific because you got to play to the strengths of the people that are in your life, right? Like my husband loves music. So he's in charge of the sound system. Like he's in charge of the music. He loves to take people's coats and give them drinks as soon as they come in. Great. That's going to be your job. And then he's also amazing at helping clean up afterwards. Like as the party's going, he's running the dishwasher. And so he's very helpful that way. But you were talking about the funny memes. I've seen the ones where the wife is like, okay, honey, our guests are coming in 4 hours. We have to clean the bathroom, clean the kitchen, and vacuum the living room. And he's like, okay. And, you know, she'll find him in the attic, right? And he's like painting the attic. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, this attic needs painting. I'm painting the attic, of course. And she's like, what are you doing? And this goes back to a story. In fact, Meg, I think you and the kids came when we were way back living on Red Barn Trail. Jessica's sitting in her little party dress and Jordan, and they're sitting on the front step waiting for their friends to come. And I'm running around like a crazy person. And my husband decides on that day that the garage door needs painting. And so he's got the drop cloth out in the driveway and all the ladder and everything. And I come out and I'm sure my hair must have just stood on end because I was like, what are you doing? You know, he's like, what? That garage door needs painting. I was like, not today, friend.
I was just going to say it probably needed painting, but you are so right. I have seen so many of those funny skits where, yes, okay, you see the leaf blower coming out and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So that is funny.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of kind of funny things, I've got a kind of a hard question for you.
Okay.
Now, these are not funny though at the time,
Okay.
but hiccups can happen.
Yes.
So you have this purple lavender party, but a blue cupcake frosting shows up. How are you handling these hiccups?
Right. So what I've learned over time is to take a deep breath and take a minute and think, does this matter? Is this a big deal? Like, what is the point? What is the point? What is the point? The point is we're celebrating something wonderful with our family and we have all these people coming, some that we haven't seen in years. And the point is to have a great time with these people. So is the blue cupcake going to ruin the time? No, it's not. You know, it's not. And so taking that step back and being like, at this hour, right before the party, if the blue cupcakes show up, maybe that's the joke is you come out and you're like, look at this. I ordered purple, and like just roll with it because don't
You're
sweat.
so good about that. That's
Don't sweat.
super. That is super.
You know,
Now,
Meg, I say
tell
that, but I might also send my husband to run to the store and get purple cupcakes too.
So speaking of extra or changing something up, are you a stickler about RSVPs? Do you want people to RSVP so it helps you? What's your take on that?
Yeah, so I definitely ask for an RSVP unless it's a super casual something, a backyard bonfire or something where it doesn't really matter. You're going to have enough hot dogs, even if there's a few extras. But yeah, I would say just to plan your food, how many chairs you need, all that sort of stuff. So it doesn't mean that if somebody shows up that I'm going to freak out because I always get extras, extra plates, extra napkins. I've gone so far as, the place cards, like I'll buy extra and have them ready so that if somebody comes and I need to write a name on a place card, I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, they weren't expecting me. Like that would break my heart, if somebody felt like, that they somehow inconvenienced, like, no, I could not deal with that. So yeah, have extras, extra people show up. Awesome. The more the merrier, right? The more the merrier.
More the merrier. That is so nice. Okay, well, here's still on day of.
Okay.
You're juggling all of these tasks. You're even juggling the people you've delegated tasks to. But how do you do that and still try to find enjoyment of the gathering yourself?
Absolutely. The hardest thing of the whole hosting a party is exactly what you just said. And I don't know any magic for that other than trying to make things as easy for yourself as you can. And at some point, if everybody's there and everybody's fed and everybody's having a good time, our tendency is to be like, what do I need to do now? Oh, I should run the dishwasher. Oh, I should put away the food. No, take that breath and try to make it around to your guests and take the time because it goes by so fast. But I wish I could clone myself and I wish I could slow down time because that is always the problem is I feel like, oh my gosh, like it's over and I didn't hardly get to speak to, Joan and Bill over there, so that's a really hard one. But yeah, I think it's just trying to be present in the moment and do the best you can. People know that when you're the hostess, right, that you're kind of stretched. But another thing I would say, oh, this is what I would add. I used to be terrible for this. Somebody would say, oh, can I help you with anything? And I'd be like, no, just go relax. But people want to help you. It makes them feel part of the party. Let them help you. If they offer, yes, I would love your help. Would you mind carrying that out? Would you mind slicing these cucumbers? Whatever it is, it actually makes them feel more a part of the party. When you can tell them how much you appreciate, like, thank goodness you did that for me. Like, that was so helpful. So let them bring the dessert they love. Let them cut the cucumber. Let them bring whatever they want to share. Like, just let them do it, right? Because it's going to make them feel good as well. So.
I completely agree on that. I was at one gathering. I didn't even know I was going to help. And I think the dessert was ice cream with cut up strawberries. And I mean, they just kind of pushed the rinsed strawberries off to the group and said, hey, grab a nut, and then it was, oh my gosh, this is so great. You're doing something and you're talking to people and you're helping. So it was actually amazing. I didn't even know, I was going to be part of it, but it ended up really working out really well.
To mention another thing about helping leading up to the party, I've already had my sister, Barbara, and my dear friend, Laura, offer to help, right? Like, is there anything you need help with leading up to the party? Okay, let me be honest. Barb did not offer. I told her she had to come. She's my sister. I'm like, it'd be really great if you could come a day or two early. And she's like, absolutely. So yes, so she would have offered, but yeah, I kind of recruited her. But my friend Laura's like, how can I help? And I'm like, we have 100 balloons to blow up. Like, absolutely. Let's have a balloon blowing up party because that spreads out the fun. And now you have these people coming to help you. So let them help you.
But let them help you. I just had a hilarious thought, I guess, to myself. Maybe I'm hilarious to myself, but Barb is listening to this and you say, Barb offered to help. And she's probably like, I didn't offer to help. But then you brought it back and said you recruited her.
Yeah.
Okay, I just remembered what I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
So you're having this party. You have the food planned. You have the dessert planned with your cupcakes. You have your decorations. What if you have things show up with guests that maybe you weren't expecting?
So like they're bringing like food or
Let's
something?
say they bring a fruit salad.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What is the proper response?
The proper response is, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. I'm going to put it right out on the table.
Okay, yeah.
If they bring a bottle of wine, because sometimes this has happened to me before, so I'm glad you asked this question, where somebody brings you something and you're thinking, did they bring this because they want to drink it now? Or did they bring this as a hostess gift and they want you to put it in your wine collection, right? So just ask them. Just go ahead and ask and say, oh my gosh, this looks lovely. This is my favorite. Or, oh, I've never had this before. Were you thinking that we're going to share this today or am I going to hide it in my bedroom? And so then they can say, and if they were like, heck no, I was going to drink that tonight, right? Then you know to go ahead and open it up. So I think just don't be shy about it.
Don't be shy. Oh, that's so great. Yeah. Woo. Well, that is good. Now, I said woo because I think I got through my day of. So we're at the end. Hopefully, you as host have enjoyed it. But now that the party's over, what is the first thing you're doing? Are you collapsing? Are you cleaning up? Are you celebrating your success? What do you think?
Right. So hopefully I'm joining whoever's sitting around the fire pit for a bit just to have that post party. Whew, like, oh, that was awesome. It was so great to see this, that, and the other person. But then it's always like, okay, let's make sure all the food's been put away. Do we have any rental things that are going to be picked up in the morning or we need to return? Let's put those in the garage in case it rains. Let's get those taken care of. But then it kind of depends how I feel. If I'm ready to drop into bed and I don't have every single thing put away, that's okay. We'll deal with it tomorrow, So it just kind of depends how I feel by the end of the time. But yeah.
Now, everyone wants to feel like their gatherings are success. What is your gauge of success? Is it the people's vibe? Is it just, feedback? What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny because as the family, you'll kind of sit around and be like, "Oh, that was so great to see everyone." But then usually you get the text about, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for inviting us, and it was so sweet." And it's always about the people. The whole thing, it's always about the people, right? Like it's not about, "Wow, my balloon arch was a big hit." Like it doesn't matter about the people. And I hope people will like my balloon arch, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So, yes.
Beautiful. And looking back to past gatherings, I mean, this is a big, big gathering. What lessons from old parties did you kind of bring into planning this one?
Yes, that's a great question. So I'm going to actually put this first because normally I put it last, and it's getting my own self ready. Like I've done this so many times where I'm running myself ragged right to the minute when people are about to ring the doorbell. And I want to look cute in the pictures and I want to not look like a hot, sweaty mess when the guests show up. So I've learned to take the time to plan my outfit even like a couple weeks before. Is everything fit well? Is it pressed? Does it need cleaning? Is it hanging in the closet ready to go? Okay, great. I've got that going. Do I want to get my nails done the day before? Because I want cute nails or a pedicure or whatever. Do I need my hair freshened up? Do I want to run and get a blowout the day before or the morning of, right? And taking that time for yourself too, so that you feel good when people show up, because I never used to do that. And so that's one of the big things I will say. As the hostess, take the time to make sure you've got time for that shower and that little bit of a whew before the guests come through the door. So that's one thing I would say. The delegating as much as you can. Of course, hiring things out, it will cost you money. So it's not always possible. But if you can get some help cleaning the house, even if it's your family or with the food or friends helping you with the decorations, just as much help as you can ahead of time, I would say. And then thinking ahead, things like So I was just saying to my husband, where's everybody going to park? Because where we live, so we have a very long driveway, but if you're parked at the front and you've got 3 cars behind you, now you can't get out. So I said, I'm going to have to check with the HOA lady to make sure we're allowed to park on the street. Things like that, thinking ahead. Do you have grandparents that are coming who need a ride? They can't hear very well. They need a special spot to sit. They're not right next to the music speaker. Thinking ahead. Is there a baby coming that's going to need a nap? So just like way ahead of time, thinking all this through. So about 2 Christmases ago, my sister Barb and I spent a lot of time putting together a Canva presentation literally about party planning. And I would love to share it with anyone who is interested. We'll put a link down in the show notes for you. You are welcome to look at it. But it goes through all that stuff, from who's going to take the coats to where are people going to park, all the things. Just thinking about as much stuff as you can ahead of time so that on the day of, you can really just try to enjoy your party and your guests.
Oh, I really would love to see that. That sounds great. And yes, I'm sure others would too. Now, I have one little question. You gave us a peek into your party here. We've got cupcake, we've got barbecue and vegetarian, we've got balloon arch. But if I was to peek behind the curtain, can you share any kind of little extra sneak peek?
Extra sneak peeks. Well, I'll tell you one of my favorite decorating items that I got a couple of years ago that's a little bit become kind of my signature addition to a party is I ordered an over-the-table rod. And so there's 2 uprights, like you could imagine at a football game, that clamp to the ends of your table. And then the rod runs between those uprights. And from that rod, now it's whatever your imagination wants. You can string lights. You can hang jars of candles at different heights with beautiful ribbon. You can put greenery around the rod. You can have flowers hanging down. You could hang a banner that says happy birthday or whatever from this over the table rod. And you can have people sitting at that table. They can't sit at the ends because the uprights are there. So those spots are taken. You can't sit at the ends, but it's very just like intimate to have these things overhead and you're sitting across and there's twinkling lights or you use it as your buffet table or your dessert table. So that's a really fun thing. It's called an over the table rod. And then don't neglect the lighting, right? Make sure you have lots of great lighting because as the evening starts to darken, those lights come on and it's just such a magical kind of moment. And then another thing that I would say I probably get the biggest kick out of is I want to give something to my guests, like a little takeaway of some kind. It depends on how big the party is, right? We celebrated Jessica's 25th birthday with her friends that came out, and it was kind of a fall pumpkin sort of theme. And so I got scarves for each one of the guests, and I kind of asked Jessica, what colors did I like, and tried to find things that were specific to their taste. So that for me, I love that. Like a little gift that is meaningful to the guests. That's one of my favorite things to do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that for this party, but I'm thinking about it. So that's also really fun. So, doing the things that bring you joy, right? Like I went to one party, it was a grad party, and the entertainment was they rented a mechanical bull and people had a blast. That's what they wanted to do. Whatever it is that is going to bring you some joy and happiness, that's what you should do for your party, for sure.
Very good. Are you naming your signature cocktail?
No, because I haven't figured out what it is yet. But it needs to be a mocktail friendly, right? Can be both.
Yeah.
So, and I really want my girls to get involved with kind of choosing that. So I think I'm going to be seeing them this weekend. So hopefully we'll pick something, but I love something that's like a really pretty color. Oh, this is fun too. Making the ice cubes that you can put the flower petals inside of and then floating those in your drinks. All of a sudden it elevates your party. And don't forget, however you're going to display your drinks. Okay. I am not opposed to beer and pop in the cooler.
Right.
But not at every party. Like maybe we put the beer in the cooler. That's fine. But how about a fantastic, huge ice bucket that you put beautiful jars in filled with colorful liquids, or the drink dispensers that you can get, with punch with
Yeah.
fruits floating around. Just upping the game a little bit, thinking of all the details. That's what I like to do. It makes people, so people will go, oh my gosh, like, look at this. And I hope it doesn't come across as a flex, because for me, it is part of the gift to the guests, is that I was so excited that you're coming, that I did these things because I wanted you to feel special. That's what it is.
You do. My gosh. These parties have you written all over them. Absolutely. And I think people will feel your love and your care. Now, does your guest of honor have any expectations, or is she just so thrilled about the whole graduation?
So she is so incredibly taxed time-wise right now
Okay.
that I floated the idea of a custom music playlist past her. Jessica has very eclectic taste. She likes music from like all different kinds of genres. And so I was thinking, oh, how fun would it be to make a playlist? But I think she's got 4 minutes to make a playlist. She just has no time right now. So that's okay. We'll do our best to make a playlist that we think she likes. So normally I would say she'd be all in, but she's just a little short on time right now. So yeah.
So she's just going to roll up and walk into her own party like every other guest
Yes,
and just have a blast.
but I did make sure that she ordered and tried on her outfit. She's had it for a couple weeks, because it was important to me that before she got into all this busyness, she's doing her last rotation, which is emergency medicine. So I was like, let's pick your outfit before all the craziness happens. So she knows what she's wearing, and Jordan knows what she's wearing. Mom doesn't know what she's wearing yet, but I will. I
Okay. Now,
will.
speaking of, attire,
Mhm.
you have the girls have their outfits, and you said, maybe that you would get nails. Is there any sort of dress code you're expecting,
No.
or?
No, that feels over the top to me, come and be comfortable and wear whatever you want to wear.
Oh, well, this has been fun. You gave us, I think, a lot of fun tips, and I'm anxious to see your Canva presentation. Maybe you'll
Thank
post
you.
that. Maybe you can post the link for the over
Yes,
table.
table rod, absolutely. There's a few different places you can get them from now. I ordered it from Shop Terrain, but I know that they're more available now, so there's all different kinds of options for sure. So yeah, we'll put a link for that as well.
Very fun. Well, thanks for all the good tips and the conversation about your big event coming up and party planning. Well,
Absolutely.
this has been Redesigning Health and Home, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Redesigning Health and Home podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, we would love for you to like, share, and follow along so you can catch us on all future episodes. You can find me, Meg, at Fit, Fed, Feeling Good on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And you can find me, Kerri, on my website at homestylewithkerri.com, and on Instagram and Facebook at Homestyle with Kerri. That's Kerri. And you can find both of us at Redesigning Health and Home on Instagram and Facebook. So join us next time for more inspiration on creating a home and a lifestyle that truly supports your best self.